Hello everyone and welcome, Dome here, and in this video I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can add lo-fi vibes and colors to your productions in Cubase. In Cubase we have lots of tools to create these lo-fi vibes into your songs, into your productions. We have a lot of tools that will allow you to get a little bit of this imperfection, this dirt, that's most of the times intentional with lo-fi music. But that's not only for lo-fi music, this can work brilliantly well for anything from hip-hop, from trap, from any form of music really. So today we're going to explore all these different colors and I'm going to show you how creative you can be with all the tools that we have. So the first thing that I'm going to show you, and it's one of the most important things if you want to create this kind of lo-fi vibe, is to get a nice vinyl effect, a nice crackle, some noise, all these things. So let's have a listen to this track that I have right here without any of these beautiful colors that we're going to add later on. So this beat sounds really nice, nothing wrong with it, but it's very clean, it's very crisp, everything is crystal clear. What we want to do here is we want to add a little bit of dirt, a little bit of intentional imperfection so that we can give this some vibe, a little bit of a lo-fi sound. And the first thing that I'm going to do and I'm going to show you here today is a plugin that's perfect for this, and it's included in Cubase, and this is the Grangelizer. So I'm going to add this to my drums to begin with, and you will see that once I turn it on, I'm going to get this signature lo-fi sound, this lo-fi ambience that you expect. Let's turn it on. So as you can hear, we have noise, we have crackle, and we can have different types, how many RPM we want our vinyl to be, distortion, EQ, we can even have mains hum, and we also have a mix control here, so we can also automate this if we want to. So now let's listen to these drums with and without, and let's see how it sounds. That sounds great, and to be honest with you, this effect, if you have it on, it will still keep playing even if you turn off your track. But you can of course automate the mix, or you can add a triggered noise gate. It's up to you. I personally like to have this on and automate this when I want to have a little bit of silence somewhere in the track. Now, this effect, you can add it on every single track, or you can add it on selected tracks. I would be a little bit careful not to use it on every single track because this effect can add up very quickly, but you can also add it to the stereo out, and you can have a way more pronounced effect if you add it to your entire track. Now, let's move on to the second plugins that I want to show you today that are really nice for getting these lo-fi sounds out of your tracks. And this is the Bitcrusher. Now the Bitcrusher can give you lots of sounds because you can reduce the bit depth, but you can also use the sample divider here to get a little bit of a metallic sound. Let's have a listen on this sub bass. Immediately lots of character and also quite a bit of grit to that bass. Let's try the sample divider now. Clean, dirt, and attitude. I love this. Now, I want to show you another way that you can use this kind of effect with a different plugin that's called Quadrafuzz, and I'm going to use this on my drums this time. So let's go and play both the sub bass and the drums. Now, like I said, these drums are still very, very crisp for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use Quadrafuzz, but instead of using it for tape saturation or tube saturation or distortion, I'm going to use the Decimator this time, and I'm going to start introducing bit reduction to the drums. So let's start, and I'm going to start playing with the parameters right here. Let's try and use the sample rate control here as well. And if I want, I can mix this with the original signal as well. But in this case, let's hear how it sounds before and after. And see how the sound completely changes character. Before we had a very bright sound, a very pop-like sound, but now we are into lo-fi territory. We get this attitude, this grit, this dark sound that's associated with lo-fi music. So we have this, and now if I add the Grangelizer on top of this, we're going to get a really nice blend. And by the way, as you can see, I'm not adding any of the decimator to the low end, to the kick drum. I want this to be clean and punchy. And now let's listen with the bass as well. Beautiful. Now let's talk about the next way that you can add these beautiful lo-fi vibes, and this is by using filters. Let me show you my two favorite filters for doing this in Cubase. The first one is the Morph filter, and this is this one. Now this is a great filter because it allows you to do many different modifications to the filter using just this XY pad. So you can have a filter A and a filter B, and you can start morphing between those two filters. Let's have a listen. So with this filter, you can start working with loops, you can start introducing loops to your arrangement and just run them through this filter, and you can turn a full loop that sounds way too busy or way too sparkling clean into something that sounds a little bit gritty, dark, or very filtered, and you can get a lot of character using the Morph filter. Now, the next filter I want to show you and I want to use in this specific drum track is the step filter. Now, the step filter is a super fun plugin. You can basically automate the filter in steps, and you can say, okay, I want to have the filter opening in steps, or I can create different filter patterns. You have two filter types, classic and modern. We have cutoff, we have control for resonance, we have hard clip, we have glide, so you won't get this steppy action when you see these steps here. So let's have a listen on how it sounds. So as you can see, we have high pass, low pass, and band pass. And you can hear how much character and how much groove this drum loop acquires using this effect, the step filter. It gives you a lovely animation, and because you have the rate here, you can turn this into triplets mode, or you can have it into dotted mode, so you can create some really interesting variations just by using this filter. It's almost like giving your drum loops a new groove, a new layer. So I love this, and let's add the Grangelizer back. And of course, if you want, you have a mix control. So if you want to still keep some of the original drums, you can still do this. Now, the fourth way I want to show you includes two amazing plugins that we have in Cubase, the multitap delay and the ModMachine. These two effects are incredible for creating these lo-fi vibes to your track. Let me show you. First, let me show you the ModMachine that I've added to this brilliant, vibrant electric piano that we have here. So let's play this vibrant electric piano first without the ModMachine. And now let's add the ModMachine and pay attention to the texture and the trippy quality that we get out of this plugin. And this is because the ModMachine is a delay, but it also has some really cool routing going on with filters, with a lot of LFOs and all these things. But one thing that I want to show you that's very cool is this nudge button here. Let me show you what it does. So you can create all those beautiful glitchy effects, those tape stop effects. You can automate this, of course, but you can also add a lot of randomness to the sound by just touching this nudge button every now and then. It's really, really beautiful. And the second one is the multitap delay, like I said, and this I'm adding as a delay to my vocals as a send effect. So let's listen, and I'm going to explain why the multitap delay is so suitable for creating these lo-fi sounds.
You wanna let it go. You wanna dream it. You wanna let it go. 'Cause you know it.
So you can hear all these beautiful textures, all these beautiful echoes that are filtered. Well, with multitap delay, you can create all of these things very easily. This is a preset that I've created called LoFi Smooth, and I'm going to show you what I've done basically. The reason why we have all these beautiful textures there is because multitap delay has a lot of features and a lot of control when it comes to the delays. So you can have LFOs here, so you can modulate the pitch of the delay, and you can even have a very extreme modulation. Let me show you.
You wanna let it go.
And the other thing that I love about the multitap delay is that we have, of course, the low cut and high cut filters that can give you this really beautiful filtered sound, but also the sample rate reduction here. So I can have a very clean delay, but I can also reduce the sample rate in half, in 1/4, and in 1/8. Let's have a listen.
You wanna let it go.
Tons and tons of character. Let's try half the sample rate.
You wanna let it go.
And the other thing that I've done in this preset is I've gone to the tap effects and I have added some pitch shifter there. And this gives us these beautiful format shift effects, so you can basically change the format of every single tap. And this can sound really trippy.
You wanna let it go.
And the other thing that I've done in this preset is I've added a filter on the post effects. So this is a bandpass filter and a little bit of reverb. So this gives you a very nice bass, a lot of beautiful ambient sounds going on. So let's have a listen.
You wanna let it go.
And as you can hear, all these nice textures sometimes might give you ideas so that you can create some really nice atmospheres for your track. And the way I like to do this is I go and select a section of my track, for example, this one of this vocal. Sounds really, really nice. And what I like to do is I'm going here, I'm adding a lot of feedback. And then what I like to do is bounce this in place, and then you can go to audio, render in place. And what I like to do here is choose this option, complete signal path, which means that this portion of the audio is going to be rendered with the entire effects chain, including the reverb. So let's do this. And as you can see, Cubase created this file for me. Let's have a listen. So what I like to do in this case is I like to chop this, go where the delays start, and then use this as a nice intro, as a breakdown, as a continuous atmosphere that plays in the background. And you can hear all these beautiful sounds that we get out of these simple things. Now I'm going to talk about the fifth way that you can use to create these beautiful lo-fi vibes to your track, and this is by using the sampler track. So what I would do in order to get these beautiful choppy sounds, these kind of vinyl effects, I would get any of the material that you have in your project and drop this into a sampler track. And don't forget, that doesn't need to be audio only. I'm going to show you what I can do here. I'm going to open my lower zone and I'm going to go to sampler control, and in this case I'm going to drop in the MIDI part from Vibrant. So let's drop this into our sampler track, and now I have the entire performance and I can play it on my keyboard. And what I like to do is I like to turn the release all the way down so that I can make it super sharp. And here, sky's the limit. You can say, I want to turn my playback quality to vintage, for example. I want to add some bit reduction. I want to have a turntable sound. I want to also have a little bit of an LFO for my pitch, like this. As you can see, I have a little bit of an LFO here, and I can control this LFO using my mod wheel. Or maybe I want to have a little bit of a pan LFO, as you can see right here. So now, if I play this, and the other thing that I've done is I've added a little bit of glide, and this gives me a very beautiful kind of And now when I use the mod wheel, let's use the LFO for my pitch. And I can create all those beautiful kind of unstable sounds, you know, the drift, and we get this wow and flutter tape effects. And then you can edit the LFO type and change the shape a little bit. And this this is all in the sampler track. I haven't even added any other effect. That's all with the new sampler track. So now if I play this real time with the groove, let's add a little bit of pan modulation as well. It's so much fun, and it's incredible that you can do all these effects just by using the sampler track. The sampler track is one of the best tools if you want to create these super characterful lo-fi sounds. So these were 5 ways that you can create lo-fi vibes for your tracks in Cubase. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you make some great music. See you soon. Bye-bye.